guys that were the guy was in the white robe wielding the magic. You see that he's got that all too familiar brooch of the dragon head and the pirate ship that he is carrying, clasping his robe around his neck. But other than that, they don't seem to have anything of any real value. They don't even have coin on them, quite frankly. So that's kind of interesting. All right. So all good? Everyone, all things covered then?
Yep.
All right.
Very good.
All right, so a little traveling music as you guys go back over to the city and you go back into the now very familiar city of Phandalin. Now let's go and take you guys over there. Please let me know when you've managed to get you back in. Let me know when you see it. I'm seeing it on my side over here.
I see it.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. So let's see, I'm just taking quick stock of who's in the room. I have two cauldrons. That's kind of strange. So let me fix that. Alrighty. All right, there we go. Is everybody present and accounted for now? Let's see. We have a Druger, we have a Damien, we have a Ruger, we have a Cauldron, we have an Angelina, and we have an Elrin. For the first time in a long time, the party is now back together. So you guys all abscond up into the room, and when you get in there, you find Angelina and Elrin sitting in the room as Angelina was about to share with Elrin what she saw as she was in her little getaway inside of the brooch. So Angelina, what do you want to share with Elrin about what happened to you?
Okay. So, um, I saw um my Jin, who's
Jin? Oh, right. Yes.
not
I already have questions.
my Jin, who is my patron, right, Dad?
Correct.
And they were fighting a dragon with a red red head, a blue head, and a white head. It had three heads, three different colors. They were fighting, and it was like a pretty intense fight. So, and I didn't know what they were fighting about. So I went up to my Jin to ask, "Are you guys fighting? Why is he attacking you?" After I asked that, the Jin like threw me like a ghost almost. And then just as he passed through me, it's like a cut scene. I had a new vision where I'm having this. Oh, by the way, they were fighting in the stars. I forgot that detail. Because I think that's like their realm. That's where it is. It's in the stars.
Okay.
And so then, new vision after he passes or it passes through me, because Jins are non-binary, and I was able to look at this planet that looks like a paradise. I'm seeing like this outside view of this single planet, and it looks beautiful. It looks very peaceful and happy to. I'd love to live there for vacation, and and then suddenly there was this like black dark energy, almost like a cloud, encompassing, starting to kind of take over this planet. And then this energy was sort of pulling the planet into two planets. And as it's being pulled apart, you have the giants and dragons and the I think it was half breeds and stuff like that on one side of the planet, and on the other side are your magical and unmagical beings. There's some that are magical, some that aren't. And as they're being pulled apart, I'm trying to remember. This is a lot. I was in there for a while. As they were being pulled apart, the some of the dragons and some of the giants were still left on the side where the magical and unmagical beings were. And what I noticed is that this unmagical / magical creature side is starting to look a lot like Earth. And on that side, there were some giants and dragons that were left behind, wanting to be on the other side with their, basically their family and their kind. But they couldn't do anything about it. And this dark energy is starting to, or this dark cloud energy thing is starting to kind of infect the magical and unmagical beings, turning them, I'm not sure into what, kind of taking over them. Then suddenly, I have another vision. It's like another cut scene, and I'm looking at this icy blue altar, and it has kind of like this bowl grooved out. Dug out. It's dug out at the bottom of the altar. What?
Dug out. That's fine.
Okay, dug out at the bottom of this altar, and it's got this pool of I think it's water in it, and this really multicolored energy in a ball right on top of it, and it's all different kinds of colors. And there's this what looks almost like a wizard, but I can tell that it is not. It looks like if a human being was stretched to be 10 feet tall, but the width hasn't changed. It's just a really stretched person who's very white, and I see their elongated, scaly fingers kind of take that multicolored energy on the altar and kind of gently throws it at an orc. And this energy turns this orc into a crossbreed of an orc and cobalt? No, that's a material.
No, cobalt.
Cobalt.
Yeah.
Is it cobalt? Am I right?
Kobold.
Kobold. It makes it into a mix of those two. It was really disturbing to see that change from the energy. It clearly was painful for the orc. Then suddenly, another cutscene. I'm looking at a forge now. I'm looking at a large forge that is surrounded in a circle by what looks to be wizards in black and white coats.
Black and red.
I did that again. Yeah, black and red coats. And they seem to be
cultist cloaks?
No, just just cloaks. I don't.
Great.
But they're not black. They're not some are wearing black and some are wearing red. It's everyone's wearing black and red.
Okay.
Is it cultist cloaks? DM?
Are they similar to the red brand cloaks?
DM.
Dad?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, my microphone went into mute and I couldn't get it to lock.
Are these cloaks like the red brand cloaks?
You don't need to yell. I could hear you the first time, and
Sorry.
I just couldn't answer, and yelling through the headset doesn't work for me. but no, they don't seem to be like the cultist cloaks. But as you're describing them, Cauldron, these sound very, very similar to the robes you saw the mage wearing in your vision.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Connections are being made.
They are like the red brain cloak.
No, they're not.
What?
They're like the cloak that the mage was wearing.
The mage.
In Cauldron's vision.
Sorry.
And if I remember correctly, the mage was the guy that turned into a Nothic.
He turned into the Nothic. That is correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so these wizards are surrounding this forge in their cloaks that seem to be having some sort of ritual. And I see this green energy start being passed around. It's a very sickly colored green. And then I see them bring in this woman who is clearly not there voluntarily. She's being forced there. She's tied up. And they trigger warning. They slit her throat on the forge as her blood's like a sacrifice almost. And then I suddenly everything just like went black. I wake up here and I feel something spiky on my back, and it's my brooch. That's it. How'd I do, DM? How'd I do?
You get good points. You remembered most of that, and I was impressed because that was a lot to remember. But yes, you did very, very well.
Voices, though. The story
yeah.
was you did the voices. No, I'm kidding.
No problem. All right. So
Kenji, I'm actually just gonna manually turn you up on my end. You're just a little quiet. Don't change anything, because I just blasted your volume.
I was about to say, like, I think I'm actually. Let me check my Discord for a second.
yeah, I'm having a hard time hearing you too. So let me turn you up.
I just bumped his volume and it helped.
Let me just check my microphone too to make sure that.
Oh yes, that's much better, Kenji. Whatever you just did.
Yeah, my input's at full volume. I literally just sat at my desk is what I did.
Okay, much better. So interesting. So so now that you guys have heard this, thoughts. Druger listens to all this. You see him thumbing the blade of the falchion, testing the balance, kind of getting an idea of what he's going to need to tell an armorer to modify if he's going to try and keep this thing. He looks at the rest of you guys and goes, well, there's way too much magic going on here for my liking. Give me just a straight up fight. It's better for me. Don't like all this.
I forgot. I forgot a huge part of the vision. I'm so sorry.
Guys, to tell us.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
You don't need to die to do this, but please do. Go ahead. Continue.
After the forge sacrifice, I come back to the star realm where my djinn and dragon and this dragon are fighting, and the dragon starts opening these like portals where a bunch of like other creatures start coming in to probably help it fight. So there's like undead, orcs, half-breeds, everything just coming out of these portals getting ready to fight, and the djinn and the dragon are going head-to-head fighting like so intensely that they start fighting in circles upwards like a tornado going up. And
Sorry, the mental image.
I know, I think that was it.
Is this whole thing like a race war kind of thing? Like, I'm just like is it all an allegory or not an allegory? An analogy for like.
I don't know, but the whole thing about the splitting planet and some of them being left behind makes me think that these dragons and giants and these creatures just want to be with their kind.
Oh, I was thinking that they were just gonna control the powerful to get them on their side so that then they can take over everything else. Like everyone else, like
Magical
the
and not magical?
the small no, no, I don't want to say smaller, but like the orcs and the half breeds, like I feel maybe are easier to overturn if you're a powerful magical being. I don't know. Anybody else have any ideas? Because Elrin is stumped.
So is there any like specific, so you say the one of the worlds had the dragons, giants, and whatnot, but do you remember like specifically what was on the other world besides, the few dragons and giants that remained?
I'm assuming that this other planet, the one, because it's split into two, I think the other planet is supposed to be our world because all I saw was that there were some magical beings and some that weren't magical at all. So I'm assuming that means like humans, elves, dwarves, like all of that kind, I think. Hey, DM, am I right?
Yes, that is what you saw. That is correct.
That's what I saw. Yep. So I think that what it is that it's supposed to be. That's why I'm saying I think that the dragons that we're like fighting literally right now, I think they just want to be with their kind. Now, don't ask me how to get to space because we don't have the tech for that.
But we do have portals.
That's what I'm saying, especially with the dragon that was like opening up those portals like Doctor Strange with all the undead and stuff coming out. I'm like, hey, how about you use that for your buddies on this planet?
Well, I also was thinking the other day while we were talking about all this, I was like, we don't know why the dragons are here. We don't know why the cultists are a thing. So I think if there's someone we can level with or talk to, that would be a great next step into figuring out. Well, I know we also have to do all the stuff with the box and the Wave Echo Cave and all that.
And about the altar thing you said or you saw, we actually, I found a map to Icespire Peak where it is, or supposedly.
Is that an altar?
Yes. How did we first learn about it? We learned about it from somebody.
You guys first learned about it from Sildar.
Okay.
Sildar had passed along to you guys that there was reports that there was this strange kind of there was some weird necromancy gene splicing, like, because the Icespire Peak used to be a fortress and it was abandoned years ago because it fell into disrepair and it was given over to the orcs and the half orcs, that you were kind of indigenous to this region. And it was originally not just a fortress, but there was a bit of a nexus of power there, and it was used as a healing academy because of that nexus of energy. So there was a long time series of experimentation and learning and the development and the maturation of healing magics, and Elrin and Angelina in their present bodies are heard about this place from legend because this is where a lot of the healing arts that are passed on through their order come from. And even Ruger, you've heard about these healing nexus points because there's essentially crossover points on the planet where the ebbs and tides of natural energies and magics come together, and when they form, they can form extremely powerful places. There's another one that you guys have seen that you've already been told about in this vicinity, and that is the old the Owl Well. That well is another nexus point, and that particular nexus point forms basically a doorway to the equivalent of hell, which is why it's being guarded, because that was a convergence point of evil magics. as opposed to healing magics, which were reputed at Icespire Peak. But those powers were abused at one point, and according to legend, the gods, in their rage and fury and um, their disapproval of what humanity was doing with that energy, essentially destroyed most of Icespire Peak and froze the top of the mountain in perpetuity, and it became unlivable for humans. So they abandoned
Okay.
it. And interestingly enough, as you guys are talking about this, you recall that sounds like very much like the place where the half orcs that you had run into that were claiming the lumber area
Right.
were reclaiming that because they had been forced out of where they had been living, which was Icespire. They went up there
So
because it was the only place the humans would leave them alone because they couldn't go there.
so I feel like the people that we should maybe reconnect with maybe are those half orcs and those orcs, because now that we're talking about, like, now that after what I've seen with, like, the orcs being, like, morphed and turned into these half orcs and stuff, I feel like they're a good merger between, like, us and the darker creatures.
Understood. That makes perfectly
I
good sense.
feel. And so I feel like if Cauldron has the map to Icespire Peak, I feel like that's, like, really, really useful too. And also, what I also asked the DM when I first saw this vision, I think that forge that all of those wizards were surrounding and sacrifice on, I think that's the forge that's in Wave Echo Cave.
It must be.
Yeah, because
Oh.
that forge is the forge that creates magical weapons without enchantments or any spells. So I
So doesn't
feel
it require
a sacrifice.
sacrifice? Yes.
Yeah, like blood or something, right?
So Druger is still playing with the big falchion on the other side of the room, and he goes, "Didn't that old fart over at the well? Did he have something to say about that? Something about the sacrifice necessary to get the damn thing started?"
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we have no issue killing people,
Okay. Well.
so can't we just? I mean,
Well, I don't know what the next step is, but I feel like we've drawn some good connections.
yeah.
I still don't really understand what the fight between the djinn and the dragon is.
I think it's just like anything else that's happening in this realm, which is the fact that like the dragons are clearly trying to take over something or have control for whatever reason. So I really think that I really think we need to either talk to a cultist or talk to a dragon to figure out like really like the root of the issue, other than what we're like two-dimensionally gathering, which is like, oh, they want power, they're trying to take over. I think like getting to the actual root of what any of this is about would be cool. But also,
would talking to those half orcs in the lumber area, would that be a good person to talk to?
I don't think the half orcs know what's going on any more than we do. I really think it has to either come. We have to figure out why the cultists are even there. Like, what? Why are you willing to like literally like jeopardize the fate of all of any universe? And then, if we could talk to the dragons directly and be like, "What the hell is any of this about?"
Right. But I also think that those orcs know Icespire better than any of us.
I mean, that's true. Fine, let's go talk.
Well, no, maybe we could try and find out the motives of the cultists with the orcs, maybe. Because it's good to have more people on our team, I think.
True.
So
I don't
just
know. What do you guys think?
as you guys are talking about that, you hear a gentle knock at the door.
Okay.
Oh, and that's it.
Who's there? No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I'm glad I had your audio turned down for that one. Yes, there's a gentle knock at the door. Someone is clearly trying to get your attention.
I'll
Hello?
answer the door.
Okay.
Wait. Who is it?
You hear, well, it's a friend. If you could open the door, I'll show my face.
Hey, boy.
I
Okay,
open the
so
door.
So we let him in.
So standing in front of you is a shrouded character. Walks in, closes the door behind him, pulls the hood down off of his head, and you see standing there the silver-haired old warrior Sildar, whose head is still bandaged from the pretty hefty blow that they gave him on the head as they were incarcerating him earlier on. I'm really glad you guys went and got me. They told me where they were about to send me, and I was in no big hurry to go there. Apparently, they're digging a big pit up in the hills over there, somewhere in the Iron Hills. It looks like they may have found the location of the Wave Echo Cave. They tried to go in the front door, but something stopped them, so instead, they're trying to dig their way in from the back, kind of like a sapper trying to undermine a castle wall. Not really sure it's gonna work, but apparently they've been going through slaves that have been digging there left and right. Stuff is eating them, burning them, scaring them to death. So they're constantly looking for new folks. That seems to be where anybody in town who's been getting on the wrong side of the red brands has been finding themselves. They're either been sent over there to dig and replace the guys that have been getting killed, or they get sent up to the top of the ice spire to be turned into mulch. Neither one of those were real appealing to me, so I'm in your debt. Thank you very much for getting me out of there. But seems that I've been getting a little too close to the truth. There's something going on here that has to do with these cultists. There looks like they're trying to form an army. And it looks like, based on the paperwork that I was finding back at City Hall, they've been sending enough supplies up from Neverwinter and all the surrounding areas to rebuild that thing 3 times over. I don't know how many people they got up there, but it looks like they're starting to get quite a force. And more importantly, if they're building an army there and they get their hands on Wave Echo Cave, that's bad news, because that means not only do they have an army of these crossbred, misfitted mutants, but they're gonna be able to outfit them in magical gear. I don't like the idea of fighting these monstrosities in the first place, but I'll tell you, little lady, going and doing that against one that's wielding a magic weapon, that just adds insult to injury in my book.
So they know where Wave Echo Cave is, but we don't, right?
No, we know where it is. We just don't know how to get in at this point. And neither do they, which is good.
Yeah, that was the way I was thinking about it too. I don't think they're going to be overly successful trying to dig their way in from the back. I don't think anything that's smart enough to from keeping them coming in the front door is going to be damn fool stupid enough to let them in through the back. But you never know.
So maybe we ought to
Head straight there.
hustle.
Should we head straight there, or should we go to Icespire first?
Well, I don't think we're in any shape to go up against Icespire. If what I'm hearing is true, the force up there is pretty doggone huge. If we went up there just the 6 or 7 of us, I don't think our efforts are gonna amount much to a hill of beans. You got an army in your bag that I don't know about?
No, but we have an army in the making, it sounds like what you're saying. Is there any way we could trick them into going to Icefire first and getting rid of all those goons?
I don't think I understand who you're telling me to send there, little lady.
The
The ones that
the
are trying
army
to.
that's currently being built.
It's being built at Icespire.
Oh, so you're
You know, I'm gonna start writing out like little cheat sheets for you guys.
no, okay. Okay, that's fine. Can one of the smart people chime in?
Eva, I think they're talking to you.
Well, I'll say this much. I do agree with you that whatever's going on up there at Icespire has got to be stopped. The last thing in the world we want is to let them build an army. But I don't think we're in any shape to go up there yet. That place is just too hot. And I like the idea of going away Echo Cave, but if they couldn't get in the front door, it makes you think we're going to be able to get in.
We have a box.
We do.
He kind of looks
Maybe
at you for a second and like maybe you're the ones that took the shot in the head rather than him.
I wonder if there's a way for us to stop the supply that's going to that army, maybe?
Well, that's an interesting prospect there. We certainly could try. I still have friends in the military that are ensconced over at Neverwinter. I could catch the next transport that's heading back into Neverwinter and try and see if I can get a message to any of my old mates there. In fact, that would
What do you
probably.
guys think?
That seems like a good idea. I'm also wondering what happened to Gundren. Sildar, do you know anything about what happened to Gundren?
Well, yeah, I got a little bit of intel on the old dwarf as well. Seems that they went and took him over to Wave Echo Cave. They
Oh,
think
jeez.
they think that he knows some way to get them inside, like he's got inside information on what to do when they get there.
Surely.
Yeah, then he looks at you and goes, "What box are you guys talking about? What's this about a box?"
We got a box that requires keys to open it, but it has something to do with getting into Wave Echo Cave.
We assume.
So we told.
When we saved the good sister, we acquired that box. So we think because of what was told to us by
Agatha?
Agatha, the powers that be, the guy over at Old Owl Well, that these might be a way to open Wave Echo Cave. But we're still missing the keys to the box.
Well, what? Where did she give you any idea where to get the keys? Or
Oh yes, I wrote this down.
who to get them from?
Wait, I wrote.
Oh, Elrin's shuffling through her journal. She has it written.
Well, we need to contact in the old legend of the family. We already contacted the wizard, but we need to contact the mother and the daughter of the family that were destroyed and created the curse on the good sister.
The curse. Are you talking about the Legend of Mormansk?
That's right.
Oh, that's a kid's fairy tale.
Oh no, my friend.
Ain't no fairy tale.
Well, who are you guys supposed to go and run into then? Who you trying to find from that old story? I mean, if you believe the tale, Mormansk is still down there in Wave Echo Cave.
So
Well,
we're
then
trying to,
that's where we're gonna need to go then.
But didn't you say you needed keys?
The keys might
Oh, it's a 2-piece key, lace key, and I forget the other thing. And Agatha mentioned dragons and Ravina for the box. Maybe my brooch!
Oh, try it.
Hey, Angelina, could you get closer to your microphone? Because we can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. So I remember that Agatha mentioned dragons and Ravina for the box. So I'm wondering if maybe my brooch can open the box?
Dragons and Ravina. Huh. Well, the only dragon that was around here at that time was the old dragon burial ground. That was
Oh,
around back then. But
where's that?
well, it's out in the wilds, but we could certainly get to it if that's where you needed to go.
What's special about this place?
Well, it's where they used to go and bury the heroes from around these parts. They used to, if you were really a hero, you wouldn't be buried in a regular tomb. They'd take you over to the dragon barrows. And that's where they would place you, is in the crypts there, but it's only for the most powerful and famous of all the different heroes. It's part of the old ruins that made up this area back in its heyday, back when Fandolin wasn't just an old hick town, it was actually the center of commerce. You've got you've got the Dragon Barrows, you got the Axholm, which was the military base. There are all these different places that pepper the hills around here.
So maybe on the way to Echo Cave we should stop by there? What do you guys think?
I think anything that greatens our chances of getting into that cave with one shot lessens the chance of us, fiddling around in that area and getting caught and having a people to fight.
Well,
Okay.
the Dragon Barrows are not too far out of town. They're not exactly in the direction of where we believe the Wave Echo Cave to be, but it's not like it's completely off the track either. We could certainly get there without too much trouble. Tell you what, he starts scratching his head. I gotta get out of town anyhow. It's a little too hot around here for me to stick around. My house has been taken over by the guards. Tried to get in there. That didn't work. And every place I look, there's a wanted poster for me around. So tell you what we can do. How about we go and we meet at the crossroads outside of town, and we'll head up into the Dragon Barrow. Does that sound like a plan? I'll meet you guys there at how about sunset? It's only about 3 o'clock now. We meet up there in a few hours.
Sounds
Sure. In the meantime, do you think you can get that connection of the some of those people in the military to maybe try and stop the supply?
Way ahead of you, little lady. I'm gonna go and send a note with one of the guys heading on the next transport. Guy, he's a good egg. His dad and I used to serve together. I'll see if he won't mind taking a message with me to the old captain of the guard up at Neverwinter. Good guy. Drinks too much, but that's all right. Still a good egg.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
But how about you folks? What kind of condition are you in? Are you guys ready to march out the door? It sounds to me, little lady, like you went through hell and back there inside of your brooch. Are you guys ready to rock and roll, or okay, like you would really say that, or are you are you guys in need of
well,
a good night's rest before we start?
I
we
think
need to,
I think you're implying something. Yes.
we need a good night's rest. We could do it here or we could do it, out at the Dragon Barrels, but I
I think
suspect
doing
we're
it here
better
might
sleep
be a good
here. Yeah,
What
would be better
exactly is
sleep.
rock and roll, though?
Okay.
It's a kind of druidic thing. They throw rocks on the ground, they let them roll.
I hate this party.
All right, so, and Sildar takes a couple of sniffs and goes, "It smells like Bart's making beef stew downstairs. You don't want to miss that. He's pretty good with pretty handy in the kitchen for a orc, especially one that's almost 7 feet tall. Yeah, it looks pretty hilarious if you poke your head in the kitchen. He can barely stand in there. The ceiling's only 6.5 feet tall."
Well, maybe you can have him send his daughter up so we can order from up here and not show our face downstairs, because we've got the same problem you have.
Right. So tell you what I'm gonna do then. I'm gonna go downstairs and see if I can get myself some victuals from Bart, and then I gotta go off and find the guy to send that message back up to Neverwinter. But yeah, I'm gonna find a place to lay low for the rest of the day. Probably hide in the stables. But once the sun goes down, let's meet at the crossroads.
Sounds good.
So he
Does
goes.
that,
Go ahead.
does that give us enough time to rest before the sun goes down?
Oh, that's right. You guys are gonna wait till tomorrow morning. That's right. So we'll meet at the morning. I'll meet you guys at the stables, and then we'll make our way up to the crossroads.
Very
Maybe
good.
maybe we should meet like really early in the morning, so not a lot of people are there.
Yeah. Well, if we meet at sunrise, there's not gonna be a whole lot of folks around by that point.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Good plan.
I like it when a plan comes together.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody get into your characters and give yourselves a long rest. And it will be a new day, so make sure that you do that. As Sildar goes and disappears as he leaves and goes out into the back area.
Can we take a bio break after this?
I was just going to say, why don't we take a brief pause ourselves so that we can come back afresh. All right.
How
I'm gonna be
long?
honest, I don't remember how to do a long rest in this game anymore. It's been so long since I've actually controlled this.
It's under the hit dice under your name.
Yep, just double click on your character name and then you'll see under hit dice they'll says S rest L and long L rest. Do the L rest and when it asks you is it a new day, say yes.
There we go. Now I found it.
right.
Here we go. Where's my rest? Where's my rest?
And let's see. Now you got beat up a little bit, so you're going to need to heal.
Shoot, how do I do that? I can't seem to find the heal button again. So I have my character page.
Did you do a long rest?
I found my character page. I'm looking for how to do the. Oh, here we go. Long rest, short rest. Got it. Here we go.
Yeah.
Long rest.
Yeah. And I was going to say you were only 12 hit points down, so that should have been something you would make up while you rested. Yeah. So that's all good.
Yeah, no, it was just one of those things where I just haven't touched this interface in so long that I don't know how to I don't know how to use it.
Yep, understood. All right, guys, take 10 minutes. Come on back. Bio break. See you in 10.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Hi, Baba girl. Do you want to go potty?
You might want to mute your microphone.
Oh, I'm taking Lucky out.
Perfect.
We can
Awesome.
hear you.
All right.
I mean, I'm not having like a secret meeting. I was just asking Lucky if she wanted to go potty.
And then she was gonna.
No.
Then she was gonna plan on killing Damien in his sleep. I understand. All right. Be right back, guys.